you know, how was it? How did you deal with the poverty? And I'm thinking, they did not deal with the poverty. They may have witnessed it for a few seconds, but the people living in poverty are the ones dealing with the poverty, not those of us who are privileged enough to come and go as we please and have all of our basic needs met. So I think I can see, you know, that there are, on the surface, some attempts to do something good for these kids. But, you know, what really upset me, and kind of building off of that story, was to read about 3 big stars in India.
Bollywood stars,
celebrities, 2 of them actresses and one of them a photographer, a celebrity photographer, having their homes raided because they're suspected of tax evasion. Really major offense. I mean, these are people who are earning crazy amounts of money in the entertainment industry in India, and probably, at least they're accused of evading taxes, and I don't think their homes would have been raided were it not for some really good suspicion. These are celebrities that you've probably heard of: Priyanka Chopra, Katrina Kaif. There's also a photographer, Atul Kasbekar, and you know, when you hear the stories about these kids and how they're suffering, and then you hear that among the richest of the rich, there's this kind of tax evasion. Yes, we can say there's corruption in the government, and maybe they are taking some kind of stand, I don't know, about paying taxes because the government may not be doing enough to help these kids. But you know what? It's too much.
It's a personal ethic. I think if you have that much money, why not help the more unfortunate around you, especially because there's many of these slums right in and around Bollywood. Mm-hmm. So you would think that these actors and actresses see it every single day in their existence in those cities, and how do you live such a disparate life just down the road from them? So I think you're making a good point. There has to be some moral conscience that has to rise within our Bollywood actors and actresses to give back in the community. And in very sad news coming out of India, India lost one of its greatest legends in the world of classical Indian vocal music. Pandit Bhimsen Joshi passed away over the weekend. He was the signature icon of the Kirana Gharana. And really, he was one of the greats, if not the greatest patriarch in India in our current times for Indian classical vocal music. He was sick for quite some time, and he was also 88 years old. But it is still a very great loss, and I know that the classical music community is mourning his loss greatly.
So movie fans were very excited, I'm sure, to hear the Oscar nominations this week, King's Speech being the most nominated film with 12 nominations for the Academy Awards. The Academy Awards are going to be airing on February 27th, and there are lots of films, 10 of them,
I can't
nominated
get over that
for
number.
Best Picture.
I don't even watch 10 films in a year.
So there are a number of them. You know, King's Speech, no surprise there. Black Swan, The Fighter, 127
The
Hours.
one I'm interested in is The Social Network.
Okay, tell me why you like that one.
Because it's such a current and relevant film of our time, and you've got Mark Zuckerberg, who is probably, you know, waiting to see how he comes out at the end of all of this buzz, because he's either a hero or he's the guy that you'd love to vilify, one or the other. And I think the movie really taps into a sentiment that's prevalent in the country.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of talk about The Social Network, and it did very well at the Golden Globes as well, so people are looking at that. I did see The King's Speech, and I thought it was a wonderful film. You know, Jeffrey Rush always impresses in his performances, which are really diverse and interesting. Colin Firth, of course, has gotten much recognition for his portrayal of the king, and it's been interesting. I was talking to my sister, who knows a lot about stuttering and this particular problem, and one point she made about the King's Speech is that while he stumbled over his words a lot in that film, he did not show a lot of the other nonverbal cues that stutterers often make. To compensate when they cannot actually pronounce a word or get stuck on a word, they will often do some kind of eye movement or look away or do something else, some gesture to kind of distract from the words and from the speaking, which you didn't see in Firth's performance at all. And I think that's more an issue of direction. But clearly, you know, we have this kind of modern story of The Social Network. We have a much older story when we're looking at The King's Speech and many other films in between.
The one I'm interested in is Natalie Portman's role. I mean, she's gotten a lot of buzz over the fact that she plays a dark character in this movie, a ballerina who really kind of goes off the deep end. But, you know, very different role from, you know, Queen Padma from Star Wars that we're used to seeing her in. So I think it's going to be interesting. 10 movies is way too much. I think they need to find a way to pare the category down before it becomes nonsensical. And I'd be curious to see how the international movies do. I think, over the years, the international movies have made quite a name for themselves. And now I'm kind of more curious about those films than I am than just about the homegrown products.
Speaking of the international take at the Oscars, A.R. Rahman is back at the Oscars again this year. His song has been nominated from the film 127 Hours for Best Song. So it'll be exciting if we get to see him on stage again.
Yeah, the movie was directed by Danny Boyle, the same one from Slumdog Millionaire, so not exactly a surprise that A.R. Rahman would provide that music, but happy to see that he got nominated. And that's about all we have for you folks today. We hope that you'll stay tuned for Morning Blend. And from Shilpa and I, we hope you have a wonderful week ahead. Namaste.
Namaste.